At Comics and Comics, we, meaning me, have a segment where we like to give an opinion about something, and if you've ever read any fanboy post on any message board anywhere, you know why we call this segment. But let's face it, all hail video games. Whether you play or not, the video game industry commands our respect. As a market, it is a thing of beauty to behold. It is constantly pushing the boundaries of what is achievable, adapts shockingly well to market forces, and is surprisingly devoid of smoke and mirrors. Video games continuously redefine what state-of-the-art is, offering hardware and software innovations with shocking regularity. When the global economy turned south, video games simply shifted focus from the processing power and polygon arms race and began focusing on novelty-based games like Meat Man and Angry Birds. It worked like a charm, not only in adapting to the financial realities of the modern consumer, but also in roping in new fans. I have to say, though, I dislike the term casual gaming, because if you've ever actually watched someone playing Angry Birds, there's nothing casual about it. The video game fan base is critical and efficient. Despite big ad campaigns, the video game buying public just wasn't fooled by Slave Zero, Homefront, The Sopranos, or Duke Nukem Forever. This is very different from the film industry, where a movie can gross $150 million before anyone even realizes that it was no good. Video game reviewers are certainly important in helping people decide if they want to spend $60 on something they will invest a lot of time in. And blacklisting reviewers from getting free games if they write bad reviews is a real practice. It bothers me that freedom of the press is being hindered in cases like this, but then again, I'm not getting free video games. Give me a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 4, and I might also be willing to give up our right to a speedy trial of our peers. Once again, though, the damage in these cases is minimal, as the video game market is so astute it can smell out a stinker even when foul play is involved. I don't know what to expect from the world of video games other than it will be mind-blowing, as is always the case. But let's face it, video games have gotten too good. I admire video games in the way that Bishop admires the beauty of the xenomorph. Back in the day, it was possible to put down the controller, stop being Pitfall Pete for a while, and do things in the real world. Now, not so much. And I'm not saying that video games have become favorable to the lives of video game playing losers. The world of video games has become better than all our lives. Yeah, it might be cool to be Angelina Jolie, but not nearly as cool as it would be to be Lara Croft. We're just lucky that it took video games this long to become invented and be this good. If video games had been around during the Philadelphia Convention, the Constitution never would have been written. Thomas Jefferson would have been playing Platinum Life nonstop. Charles Pinckney would have kept inviting his Facebook friends to join his mob in mafia wars. The arguments would have been, slaves should not be reduced to 3/5 of their population for enumeration purposes, not when each and every one of them can be our neighbors in Farmville. It's easy to say, in my day, we played outside with friends, but now Xbox has more colors than outside does. Massively multiplayer online games have become more fun than massively multiplayer outdoor games. And it's not easy to convince a gaming geek to get a life when video games give you 3 and have an invincibility mode. Dating sims have become way more fun than actual dating. Arcades died out when games you could play at home became just as good as the ones you could play at the arcade. People just didn't want to have to leave their houses and schlep all the way to the arcade. Now, console games might die out because we don't want to have to make the long trek to the sofa in front of the TV. God damn it, you're amazing, video games. Several people have died in China playing video games non-stop in internet cafes. As video games continue their awesomeness ascendancy, it's becoming more and more difficult not to say, that's a good way to go. Video games have become a voluntary matrix. Crack is still the same old crack that your parents smoked. Booze is still the same old booze. Sex is no better than it was in the olden days. Sony can't release some new state-of-the-art vagina engine that will instantly revolutionize all things erotic. Video games, on the other hand, have gotten much better than when I first started this monologue. Video games deserve our addiction. And eventually, let's face it, all our base will belong to them.